This is the video of the Titan submersible found on the ocean floor, which went missing in 2023. On June 18, 2023, at 9:01 in the morning, the Titan submersible was lowered into the North Atlantic Ocean to explore the wreck of the famous, supposedly unsinkable Titanic. For the 5 people on board, this was going to be an exciting expedition, as they were about to experience the Titanic wreck at a depth of 3,800 meters for the first time, and, tragically, the last time as well. After about an hour and a half, contact with Titan was lost. What happened to the Titan, and whether the passengers on board were still alive, remained a mystery for the next 2 days. After 2 days of searching, the rescue teams finally found some scattered parts of the Titan, confirming that there were no survivors. For the first time after the Titan submersible incident, new official details have emerged. After the investigation, the U.S. Coast Guard has released the conversations between the Titan and its mothership, Polar Prince. What was discussed as the Titan neared the Titanic wreck? What were the final messages before contact was lost? Welcome again to Fusion Art Videos, dear viewers. After a year and a half, the U.S. Coast Guard has released a video of half of the Titan's hull, found lonely on the ocean floor at a depth of 3,775 meters. This appears to be the rear part of the submersible, which suggests that the explosion occurred at the front, where all 5 passengers were seated. In another video released by the Coast Guard, the front part of the submersible is also shown, completely destroyed, with carbon fiber pieces scattered across the ocean floor. This proves that the front part of the Titan was crushed by ocean pressure. The water pressure first entered the front part, causing the hull to crash, and the rear part separated due to the same pressure. The part found on the ocean floor was discovered by a remote-controlled submersible, which was sent on June 22, 2023, 3 days after contact was lost with Titan. Astonishingly, the wreckage of the Titan was found just 1,600 feet away from the Titanic wreck, which it had gone to explore. But what will amaze you even more is that, 112 years ago, the first-class ticket for the Titanic was only £150, which would be $300 in today's currency. In contrast, the passengers aboard the Titan paid $250,000 for their tickets to see the Titanic wreck. As the Titan descended into the dark depths of the Atlantic Ocean, it remained in contact with the Polar Prince for an hour and a half. There were 3 tourists on board, including a famous Dubai businessman and adventure sports enthusiast Hamish Harding, as well as 2 members of a Pakistani family, Shahzada Dawood and his son Suleiman Dawood. The crew included the pilot of the Titan and the owner of OceanGate, Stockton Rush, along with Titanic expert Paul Henry Nargeolet, who had visited the RMS Titanic wreck dozens of times before. After the accident, everyone wanted to know what happened at the bottom of the ocean that caused the Titan to implode. When contact with the Titan was lost, the U.S. Navy's underwater sensors detected a strange, unnatural sound, raising concerns about its origin. Was it an SOS signal, or did some sea creature attack the Titan? As these questions remained unanswered, an article emerged linking the Titan submersible to past issues. It revealed that in 2018, OceanGate's Director of Operations, David Lockridge, was fired by CEO Stockton Rush for raising safety concerns about the Titan. The Titan submersible was designed and developed by Stockton Rush himself. Its body was primarily made of carbon fiber, a material not widely tested or certified for deep-sea adventures. In fact, the submersible was still in an experimental phase and had not been certified by any official department. Lockridge repeatedly warned that the Titan was not safe for passengers, but Rush ignored these warnings. After Lockridge was fired, he published an engineering report in 2018, explaining why the carbon fiber hull was not safe for depths of 4,000 meters. This led to a court battle between OceanGate and Lockridge, which had not been resolved at the time of the Titan's accident. Following the incident, this report raised many questions about the Titan's design. If the submersible was still in an experimental phase, how was it being used for underwater tourism? Was there no regulatory body in the US overseeing such adventures? Meanwhile, OceanGate faced another lawsuit when the family of Paul Henry Nargeolet sued the company for millions of dollars, accusing it of concealing past mistakes that cost them their loved one's life. As media and legal pressure mounted, a high-level inquiry was needed to determine who was responsible for the Titan's implosion. The Transportation Safety Board of Canada and the U.S. Marine Bureau launched a joint investigation. For the first time, details about the Titan, which had been previously concealed by OceanGate, came to light. The investigation revealed that in January 2018, the Titan was fully manufactured and assembled. However, the submersible successfully reached a depth of 4,200 meters, where the ocean pressure is 6,154 psi, equivalent to the weight of a car on every square inch. Although the Titan passed this test, investigators noted that, according to industry standards, submersibles should be tested to 1.25 times the maximum depth they are intended to reach. Since the Titanic wreck is at a depth of 3,800 meters, the Titan should have been tested at a minimum depth of 4,750 meters, which was not done. Furthermore, in 2019, a pilot identified a crack in the carbon fiber hull, which was deliberately ignored. Investigators have now released an animation depicting the launch and destruction of the Titan, along with the conversations between the Polar Prince and the submersible. On the morning of June 16, 2023, the Polar Prince departed from a Canadian port, taking 2 days to reach the point in the Atlantic Ocean where the Titanic wreck is located 3,800 meters below. On June 18, at 9:19 a.m., the Titan was lowered from the Polar Prince. Throughout the descent, Titan maintained regular contact with the Polar Prince, reporting its depth and location. At 9:32 a.m., the Polar Prince confirmed, "We have you at 680 meters," to which the Titan's pilot responded, "Confirmed." At 9:36 a.m., the Polar Prince asked, "What is your dive payload?" The Titan responded with, 1676. The messages continued for some time. At 9:50 a.m., the Polar Prince asked, "Do you see the Polar Prince on your display?" But this time, there was no response from Titan. After 20 minutes of silence, at 10:01 a.m., the Polar Prince reported a problem with the chat settings. Then, at 10:08 a.m., Titan's depth was reported as 2,744 meters, and it was located southeast of the Titanic bow section. The Polar Prince acknowledged this at 10:10 a.m. At 10:41 a.m., the Polar Prince asked Titan to deploy the Niskin bottle, which is used to collect ocean floor samples, but Titan replied that they did not have a Niskin bottle. Shortly afterward, at 10:47 a.m., when Titan was at a depth of 3,346 meters, just 454 meters from the Titanic wreck, it sent its final message: "Drop the weights." Submersibles are equipped with weights that allow them to descend. When they want to slow down, the weights are dropped one by one to reduce speed. After this message, all contact with the Titan was lost, and no further responses were ever received. After Titan's contact was lost with Polar Prince, panic spread. Many people thought it might just be a communication issue. But as time passed and there was no response from Titan, worries deepened. The search for Titan and the 5 passengers intensified. Several rescue operations were launched involving numerous vessels, planes, and submarines, covering a vast area of the North Atlantic Ocean. 2 days later, on the second day of the search, the situation turned grim. On June 22, 2023, the U.S. Coast Guard made a tragic announcement. They had found debris from the Titan submersible near the Titanic wreckage site, just 1,600 feet from it. This confirmed that the Titan had imploded due to immense underwater pressure. All 5 passengers, including the crew, had perished. It was a heartbreaking revelation. The Titan, which had set off to explore the Titanic's wreckage, had itself become part of the ocean's tragic history. Many questions started circulating about how this could have happened. Safety concerns after the disaster, shocking revelations came forward. David Lockridge, OceanGate's former director of marine operations, had raised several safety concerns about the Titan back in 2018. He was fired after expressing his doubts about the safety of the submersible. Lockridge had specifically pointed out issues with the carbon fiber hull, stating that it wasn't properly tested for deep-sea dives. Furthermore, it was revealed that the Titan was never certified by any external agency. It was an experimental vessel, and the passengers who boarded it were taking significant risks. These details added more controversy to the tragedy, sparking legal action from some of the passengers' families. Legal actions among the lawsuits filed: Paul Henry Nargelet's family took legal action against OceanGate, demanding $10 million. They claimed that Paul was one of the most experienced Titanic experts, having visited the wreckage 37 times, and that OceanGate's negligence had cost them a family member. Other lawsuits followed, all raising serious concerns about OceanGate's transparency and safety protocols. Joint investigation. As public pressure mounted, a high-level joint investigation was launched by the Canadian Transport Safety Board and the U.S. Marine Bureau. Their goal was to determine what exactly caused the Titan to implode and who was responsible for the tragic loss of life. The investigation shed light on various safety oversights and management issues within OceanGate.